The last part of the business plan has to do with the resources that include key resources like employees, include the financials, and include suppliers and other partners. So let's talk about first the key resources that include the employees and their ideas. So leaders, team members, staff, everyone is important to achieve the objectives of the company. That's why I tend to use, instead of the regular org chart that looks like the pyramid, I tend to use this one that I like the most, which is like a diamond, where team members are in the middle. They receive support from the leaders. That doesn't mean that the leaders are only to provide direction on what has to be done, but team members, as leaders, as customers and suppliers, everyone is being part of this organization, and everyone is able to provide information, to provide ideas for improvement. So in this sense, no one is better than anyone. Everyone is uh, needed for this business plan. So it's important that in this part of the business plan, we show exactly who are the leaders, who are the team members if you already have chosen them, who will be the suppliers, is the community involved somehow in our process or maybe impacted by our process. Let's say if you have a new refinery in a town, well, it impacts a lot the community. So you have to see how you're gonna get a good impact so that they accept you in the town. And of course, customers are also important because they provide very important feedback to provide a great product, to deliver and build a great product. So some other companies use the regular org charts, and but this is something that we can show in the business plan. How is our organization distributed? Some can be just use the regular org chart where you have leaders and the team members. Some others can have more like a diamond structure. Some others have more like a matrix structure. What is important is that you share how you organize your people to achieve the results. The other key resources that we may have is the brand. Your brand is important. And the very beginning of the business plan, you may have a brand that is not well known, but in some cases it is already well known, or yourself as the owner are very recognized in your business. So it's good that you keep that as a resource and show that in this presentation. In case you may have online platforms that may help your business to come out of the shell. That a good example of that is, for example, I'm a coach and I also have an online app that where people can access to all my training on training material. So that is a key resource for me because it helps me to share my training to other people that maybe through the website they wouldn't access, but it's something that they can see on the phone. It's useful for them. Social media is another key resource. Again, maybe you are already an influencer in your area, so you may have an Instagram that has a lot of followers, or you may have a lot of followers on YouTube. Those things are super important to show to the investors, to tell them, hey, we're important in this business. This is, you can see in this slide, the importance of Instagram nowadays, the importance of YouTube, how many people are being called influencers and have these social media um, that supports their knowledge, and that this is a great way to share what they know and what they want to sell. So if you have a good account, it's good that you share that with your investors. Other things that you can have is equipment or anything that can boost your business. And this is also an example for Uber. On the picture on the top right hand side, you can see that Uber has it has rides, have different ways of earning money. You can invest, you can use bikes, you can use even helicopters. I don't even know that. So you have many ways that you can use Uber, but that means that Uber has a lot of resources and partners that are working with them to make it successful. That's why the next portion of this business plan is also talking about your key partners and suppliers. So, who are your most important partners? Which key resources do you acquire from partners? Which key activities do your partners perform? This is key in many cases. Some companies almost develop all their material, like for example, maybe a coach, they can develop their training themselves. But some other businesses, like a hospital, they need vaccines from someone else. So if you want to open a hospital, you want to know, okay, who are going to be your nurses, who's going to be your supplier? Do you have a good connection with a supplier? So suppliers are really an important part of our the line of our process. So from one round right now, we can call them really partners, not just suppliers. We are responsible for the product or the service that we offer, but the process has an input or a raw material that we don't produce, and we must pay attention to it as well. It comes from these suppliers or these partners. The community also potential investors, potential clients, all of them must also be looked after as strategic partners, as they can help us grow or they can harm us too. Companies around the world are increasingly including their partners in their strategies to reduce cost, to improve the quality of their products, and to develop new processes and products. In many cases, companies directly decide to outsource some of the processes, like HR processes or part of the production. And sometimes what they do is that take them inside, like manufacturing companies like Volkswagen have in many cases brought suppliers inside. So there's people that they keep their own company. They're like contractors, but they keep them inside their company. So they're almost like employees, and they have to take care of them the same as if they were employees too. We must evaluate them carefully because our quality depends on their quality. That's why an investor may also want to look at them and want to see what is the relationship that you have with those suppliers. Sometimes suppliers are not easy to access. Even though you think, well, I'm the customer, they may want to sell me. That's not always the case. Sometimes they are very picky. So we have to show them that we are good. So we have to show them that we're good not only to the suppliers, but also to the investors. Something that it's very interesting, for example, in the case of Uber, um, Uber has drivers that they are the main asset. They are the ones that drive the Ubers, but they are not employees. They're simply contractors. So there must be ways to take care of them. And the last part of the business plan, and not least, of course, is one of the most important parts that an investor is looking for, is the financials. What are the most important costs that you will deliver? How do customers reward you or pay what they want to get from you? And what are the different revenue models? So the main purpose of the final section is especially if you're seeking investment from venture capitalists, angel investors, or even from smart family members. They're going to want to see numbers that say that your business will grow and quickly, and that there is an exit strategy from them on the horizon during which they can make a profit. Some people just want to invest for 5 years, some just want to invest for 1 or 2 years, or they don't know for how long they want to invest in your business, and they want to know they will be able to exit with some money. So that is the type of information you need to provide. Any bank or lender will also ask to see these numbers as well to make sure that you can repay your loan. So an effective business plan has to include at least three important statements, which are the profit and loss, also called the income, which is a statement that shows sales, cost of sales, operating expenses, interest, and taxes. Of course, in many cases, this is just an estimate of what you're going to make in the future in case the company is not running yet. If it's running already, maybe your estimate is much more accurate, but still, you need to show how much you expect to make, and then we'll see if it makes sense or not. The statement shows the performance over some specific time period, maybe a month, a year, or a quarter. So you usually have at least an idea for the first year and a summary for the second and third year. Then you can have the balance sheet, which show assets, liabilities, and capital. This is in case you have already spent some money on the business. You can show how much you have spent and where. And the last part is the cash flow, which is a statement that projects how much money is in the bank and how much money you expect to have in the bank in the future. I also recommend that you add a sales forecast and a personnel plan so that you can see how much money you will spend in your personnel. In many cases, personnel is the most expensive part of the business plan. In addition, you can start the balance sheet with either starting cost or past performance, depending on whether you are creating a business plan for a startup or an existing company, so that when this investor knows where they are investing. And something that is also super useful, not only for the investors, but also for you, is the break-even point. If your business is viable at a certain period of time, your overall revenue will exceed your overall expenses. So you need to know when is this going to happen based on your sales. Is it going to happen in the next year or is it going to happen in 3 years? Everyone who wants to invest in your company needs to know when you are covering all the expenses and starting to make money. There's a certain volume of how many, I don't know, maybe if you sell you're selling jackets and maybe you say, well, if I sell 1,000 jackets, then that's where I'm starting to make money, because I also have to cover other costs like the cost of the store or where I sell, or the cost of the personnel that I have. So it's very important that you get to know what is the break-even point. If you have the budget to hire consultants, take advantage of that and bring some experts on board to let you know and to help you get the financials well set for this business plan. But be sure that you have them show you how to prepare the projections, because you need to know, you need to understand how they work in order to be able to make decisions in the future. And not only for that, but also the investors make ask a lot of questions like what's the individual price, what's the margin, things like that that you need to know for sure. And last but not least, include the revenue model, how you expect to earn money. If you sell a product, you need to say what is the price and the potential discounts. Maybe the price is going to change in the future. Like, for example, an iPhone. An iPhone is launched, and then whenever you have a next version, that previous version reduces its price. So this has to be known by the investor how you will manage that. Maybe you go for free product, just like Google. They have a revenue model where the user doesn't pay for the product, but you have someone else that is paying for that. That could be a partner or could be someone that is paying for advertisement in your company. So that's very important to see how you're gonna get the money. Maybe you have subscriptions like Netflix. Well, this is your time to talk about it. So with all this said, if you have any questions in arranging or defining the different parts of the business plan, all the information you have in the previous videos. So go back to what all the activities and all the PowerPoints that you reviewed in the previous videos, and that should help you to organize this business plan. But what I want to tell you now is that I would recommend that you do at least right now a one-page business plan using the Canvas model. This is how it looks like. This is where you have to include all the things that we've been discussing, the customers, the channels where you're going to sell, the value proposition, what is that you're offering that no one else is offering, the key resources, the key activities, key partners, and what is your main cost and what is your main revenue stream. If you get this done, you will be able to at least have in one sheet all the most important parts of your business. This is an example where you can see how Uber is formed, the revenue streams that they have, the cost structure, the channels, how they sell, the customer segments. For example, the cost structure is the employee payroll, the driver payouts, the legal fees, marketing and ads, and the tech platform cost. Maybe for them, physical location is not important. If you have a restaurant, the cost structure, a lot of it has to do with the employees and the location where you sell. And then in key partners for Uber are investor, map tech companies, and payment processors. Other key activities are hiring drivers. So you ensure that your partners are well trained to deliver the service that you're expecting. You're trusting them to deliver a good service for your customers. So you need to train them, and you need to have a great platform. The platform maintenance, how to access to the Uber on your phone, on the computer, that's key for the survival of the company. And let's go to their value proposition. Well, they said they have a low cost. You can earn money whenever you want. So here you can see that we have the business model that includes not only the part for Uber, but also the part for what is the value proposition for the consumers, but also what is the value proposition for the drivers. So the green part is, yeah, you can earn money whenever you want. You can drive as much as you want. In the case of the customers, what's good for them is that you can have your car everywhere, anytime, and you can have different levels of service. Maybe you can hire a small car, you can have a bigger car, maybe you can share the car with other people if you want to spend more. So this show you in very visual way, in just less than a minute, what is your business model. So if you can do this, it will help you organize your thoughts. So I hope you enjoyed. You have a lot of information to process. Remember, the business plan is not something that you do one time. It's something that you start and it never finishes. You can change it all the time. You can modify it, make it super easy to adjust. But don't keep it to yourself. You can share it with friends. You can share it with family members. You can share it, of course, with your team members, because everyone can help you build a great business. Contact me if you have any questions at all, and this is some support material that you can use. Team in Business, the one-page marketing plan, and if you can also speak Spanish, you can read my book, SOS Pymes, that will help you to find all the steps of the business plan. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.